fillets. And surprisingly, I have to say, out of all the meat-free alternatives that I've tried, it's probably the closest thing to actual chicken that I've tried to date. So I've tried seitan, I've tried tempeh, which is like some kind of uh, I don't know, some soy protein thing, which I do not like at all. But this thing, it kind of surprised me how not only when it gets cooked, it looks like meat. I don't know why this part is white over here, by the way. But they also include this kind of um, grate mark. See that? So it was all solid one color, and I put it in a pan, and it just started looking like chicken. Really surprising. And the texture too, even when you cut into it, it's similar to meat. And it tastes very similar to chicken too. It was very, very surprising. So this is the only meatless alternative that I really like because it tastes very, very, very similar to chicken. It shocked me. Unfortunately, yeah, it kind of, you know what? That's a good one. You ever tried Subway? You ever tried their chicken? The chicken that's inside of their sandwich? That's what it tastes like. It's like the same size and the same flavor, except it tastes a bit warmer. But if you try the Subway chicken, it tastes very close to that now that I think about it. So this is the ingredient list. Let me find it over here. So it's made out of mycoprotein 80%, egg white, yeast extract, onion powder, and that is a mold member of the fungi family. There have been rare cases of allergic reaction to products that contain it. As far as I know, I'm not allergic to any mushrooms, but it's really tasty. Let's see, 60 calories for one fillet. Total fat only 1 gram, sodium 190, not too bad. Protein is kind of high, I think, for 9 grams. And yeah, so I'm looking at advanced calcium. Now, isn't Beyond Meat just vegetable oil? I can't remember off the top of my head. I've tried Beyond Meat a few times. I wasn't too impressed with it. I do not like beef substitutes for whatever reason. I think that, see, when I think of beef, I think of steak. And when I try a lot of this beef substitute for the patties, it just doesn't compare. Like if they had like a vegan steak, maybe I'd be open to trying a vegetarian steak. As like I've said repeatedly, I'm not a vegan, I'm not a vegetarian, but Lewis is a vegetarian, so I respect his dietary choices, and that's the reason why I'm going on this whole foray into meatless alternatives. Tried seitan, tempeh. I have Beyond Meat crumbles inside of the freezer. I haven't used it yet, but I'm thinking, if it's inside of a chili or a pasta sauce, you can't really tell it's not meat, most likely, but I'm not too sure. I have to get around to making that. But this stuff, it is good. I think it was about $5.99 for 9 ounces. So this is the size right here, 9.7 ounces. You only get 4 fillets, and so it's kind of pricey in my opinion. I'm not used to paying that price for 4 little chicken fillets. Maybe it's just me, but let's see. One moment. One moment. Let's see. Oh, grass-fed beef. Yeah, I've tried grass-fed beef before. When I do buy beef, my I always try to buy grass-fed because the the fat is a deeper color and it's more flavorful in my opinion. Like I really like the marbling for grass-fed beef, but I haven't eaten grass-fed beef in a really long time. I find that it's much easier, for instance, to do grocery shopping and not look for the grass-fed beef. So I've been mostly vegetarian I'd say throughout the whole quarantine period, I have been vegetarian. I haven't bought any meat products at all. So it, yeah, I've just bought eggs and butter, and that's it. So I have become vegetarian because I'm doing all the cooking. Did you cook it? Yes, it is. It is cooked. It is cooked. One thing that's you know, I thought this thing was so highly processed you wouldn't have to worry about stuff, but look at this stuff. It says that their fillets are not ready to eat and require further cooking for food safety and quality. I'm kind of surprised. Like you would assume, or I would assume, if you have a frozen meatless alternative, you can just eat it straight away, right? You don't have to worry about E. coli or what's it, botulism, I would think, from this stuff, because it's processed, and then you just, I would think that you could just thaw it out and eat it, but they want you to cook it. Like they emphasize, it's not ready to eat. And they even tell you over here, like cook, I don't know if you guys can see that. Focus. Cook thoroughly. Look at that. Cook thoroughly. So not only does it look like meat, they actually want you to cook this thoroughly like meat. So I think psychologically it makes me think this is even closer to meat. I know it's not meat, by the way, but it makes me think like when you prepare it and when you see it, you think of chicken, and because you're told to cook it thoroughly, you treat it like as if it is a piece of chicken. What's the protein count? Here's a protein count. Protein count is 9 grams for one fillet. So this is one fillet. There was 4 of them, so that's 36 grams of protein in 4 of them. I put 3 of them in here. In case you want to know how long it is, it's about that long. Let's see. Let's measure it actually. About what, 4.5, I think. Wait, hold on, there. Oh, crap. I'm trying to work on my camera angles. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it's close to 5 inches. Yeah, and then the width is like 2 inches, I think. So it's not that big, but it's also not that small either. For a little fillet. We need a banana for. I don't have any bananas over here. Oreo for sale. No, no, no. No Oreo for scale. So, yeah, that is it. And I'm going to cut it for you guys so you guys can see how it is. Actually, I'm just going to eat this myself. So, I'm probably going to eat this one patty by myself and put some sauce on it. So, look at it. Kind of see. It does resemble chicken, doesn't it? Like, you know how chicken usually has like some kind of like line over here? Kind of reminds me of that. And look at that. Like, if I didn't know any better and I saw this in a salad, I would actually think this was chicken. Just based on browning and how it looks like. There's only one place that sells it that I've seen, though, and it's at a market that's close to the store. So if I wanted to buy more of these, I have to actually take the subway to buy it. I can't buy it nearby. Let's see. What did they use to glue it together? Well, according to this, I'm going to assume it's egg white because 86% of it is that fungi mold, mycoprotein. That's a very nice way to put it, mycoprotein. And then followed by egg white and then yeast extract. And then it contains 2% less of calcium chloride, calcium acetate, onion powder, sage, and sugar. So I'm going to assume that egg white is the binder here. Oh, it's a product of the United Kingdom. Yeah. Meatless fillets will keep up to 3 days in the refrigerator. Wow, that's kind of short. Up to 3 days? That really is kind of like meat. They say that if you don't eat meat within 3 days, you're supposed to put it in the freezer or throw it out if I recall correctly. Which I don't do, by the way. Ah, and it's also suitable for gluten-free diets. Yeah, Beyond Meat is the one that they use a heme. Oh, here we go. There's the thing. So at Quorn, we produce our own unique protein called mycoprotein, which is a unique blend of protein and fibers. Producing mycoprotein uses less land and water than animal protein production, so it's better for the planet too. So they have the vegetarian little sign over there, and it's recyclable. Does it shred? Ooh, let's see if it shreds. I need another fork, but I don't have another fork around here. Let's see. Oh, it does. It does shred. See, it looks like chicken to me. Like, that looks like chicken to me. Like, the coloring looks like chicken. It has, like, that soft pinky color. And, yeah, let me... See? Like, that totally looks like chicken. It doesn't look like any of those... How would I say it? That really solid fake meat product. I remember one time I made vegan sausages, or I heated it up, shall I say. Let's just say it was the only sausage I failed at making, and I burned it straight away because I'm so used to cooking meat sausages. If you're in Hawaii, you're probably used to Portuguese sausage. That when I put it on the stove, it went straight to burn because I'm so used to, it taking a while for the fat to uh, drain out in a sense. I forgot mentally that, hey, if you put it on a frying pan, it's just gonna roast. Why would anyone eat that? Well, if you're vegetarian, this is why you would eat stuff like this. It's a good transition food. Let's say if you're craving chicken, but you don't want to eat chicken for ethical reasons, you don't want a chicken being killed, you'll eat this instead, so that way you can satisfy your craving and not feel guilty for it. Because I know some people they want to be ethical and they don't want to contribute to an animal needlessly or senselessly dying. So this is why I eat this stuff. Yeah, I think it would be good in a fried rice recipe. I'm so used to cooking fried rice with oyster sauce though. And as you know, oyster sauce is not vegetarian. I bought this vegetarian alternative since, but it's not vegetarian oyster sauce. I have the actual oyster sauce in the fridge. Mmm. Yeah, I'll have to try it at the future. I don't remember exactly what that place had besides this meatless fillet, besides this one, but I'm I'm curious to try the whole product line now. But it really does taste like chicken. Yeah, I mean, there are there's both sides to it. Some people they say that if you do go vegetarian or vegan because you're transporting food from, let's say, the Amazonian rainforest, you can have a larger carbon footprint, and you're also not taking into account the animals that have been displaced or killed through conventional farming. So when you're harvesting, let's say, corn or wheat, some bugs or an animal might get killed by some kind of harvesting equipment. So it's I think vegetarianism and veganism, it's to minimize the amount of killing. That's what it comes down to. Meatpacking industry, I've seen some footage. It's not, let's just put it this way, it's grotesque, but I also understand that it's hard for companies to find ethical ways to kill an animal and do it in a profitable manner as well, right? I mean, if you have the demand for, let's say, a chicken, for example, you can't just humanely kill one by one like you could in a small farm, right? Because there's certain quotas that need to be met, and that's why they have these like conveyor belt styles of killing. I'm a big supporter of small farms. I think that the way people, if they want to reduce the amount of killing, of course, reduce your meat intake or try to find more ethical farms in the sense that they might be doing home kills. They spend more time actually nurturing the animals, and it's not just dollar sign. Yeah, grass-fed beef, the idea is I believe the cows just eat 100% grass, right? So you would think, okay, you don't have to really transport their food if they're just almost always eating grass, but the issue with that is that it's they're eating grass, but they're poops, right? I've always heard about this whole cow poop thing, and yeah, it's a really it's it's to each their own, really. It's a personal choice. Oh yeah, I'm very familiar with that. I'm very familiar with what they do on the conveyor belts for male chicks versus female chicks. They put them down on a line and they get shredded alive. I've seen those videos actually. So I'm very aware of it. I know some people they've told me, "Have you seen this kind of video or are you aware of what goes on?" I am very aware about what goes on. I'm very aware of what goes on for fur industry. I'm very aware of what happens in when it comes to harvesting a lot of these animal products. I've watched the videos. It's not a pretty sight at all. I've seen alligators getting skinned alive, and I make choices based on watching those videos, and yeah. Don't eat chickens. The farms are actually, no, you know what, not all chicken farms are disgusting. I think small time farmers that I've seen videos on, I think that there's nothing wrong with it. I respect and I'm for people who allow their chickens to graze on pasture and take care of them. In Hawaii, there are, certain small time farmers that do collect eggs, and they aren't how would I say this? They aren't big corporations. I think supporting small time farmers is really the way to go. But when it comes to like traditional big factory chicken, then yes, it's really sad. Uh, yeah. So Kurt, I tried this. It was this one, Quorn meatless fillets, and I can actually say it resembles chicken a lot. The texture looks like chicken. The browning looks like chicken. When you brown it in a pan, it looks like chicken. Like that looks like chicken to me. When you shred it, it looks like chicken. You can rewatch this video. It really surprised me. It really did. So like this bit, if you see, it kind of looks like, how would I say it? It looks like a fish cake almost right now, but if you shred it, it has those little, how would I say it? Lines of layers, shall I say? It's pretty interesting to me, so I wanted to share it with you guys. It does taste good. I plan on buying more of this. So I actually cooked with it. You guys get to see what Lewis gets to eat for dinner tonight, and that is tomato rice with some, I think, parsley on top, and tofu, that corn chicken, and red onions. I wanted to get green peppers, but I didn't have any in the fridge. I thought green or red peppers would be really nice, or even yellow peppers would be really nice, but none in the fridge, so not today. Yeah, it's all vegetarian. You know, I mean, Max, when you say meat is unsustainable, I can't say if it's sustainable or not, but I know when it comes down to resources, it takes a lot more resources to make a chicken grow than it is to grow like a head of lettuce. Texture of the cut looks like someone baked pig meat. Kinda, yeah. Like if it's in a salad, like I said earlier, like I would totally think this was part of like a chicken Caesar salad. Yeah, you let them outside. Like if you raise your own or you know a small time farmer, then then you know that is possible. However, a lot of people just buy it typically from a big supermarket, right? You got the major chicken producers. They aren't allowing their chickens to nibble on bugs. They're just getting probably fed in cages. Can you coat it in egg? You know what? Yeah, maybe I could make a chicken katsu out of it. That would be really something. I haven't had chicken katsu in such a long time. If you guys are familiar with Hawaii, there's a place called Eleanor Drive-In. They have chicken katsu. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good with the mac salad. I think I'm gonna try that. I think they have corn nuggets, you know. I really believe that. But I haven't tried it. I've tried this, I think there's Morningstar. Was it Morningstar? It's a green and white like Ziploc bag package. They have nuggets that are meatless chicken nuggets. That was not bad, but not like chicken nuggets. I think this one would be the closest thing to chicken nuggets. This actually, yeah, out of all of the vegetarian, vegan, or meatless substitutes that I've tried, this is by far the closest. Really amazing. Really, really amazing. Actually, I think Hawaiian pizza was Canadian, right? Or was it California or Canadian? I can't remember. But it definitely didn't originate in Hawaii. That was for sure. Has he ever eaten meat? Yes, he used to eat meat. I think he became vegetarian about 5 years ago, and he didn't really like the taste of meat, and he decided to cut down. But what really one of the things that pushed him or solidified his desire to be vegetarian is that he dated a woman who was, I believe, vegan, and she made him aware about animal suffering, and as a result he decided to be more ethical and try cut out all red meats and pork and chicken and things like that. But it's very hard to be a vegan. It is very hard because even when I look at recipes, it's some of the stuff says, "Oh, go ahead and if you want to make Alfredo sauce, right? Like some people recommend like get cashew cream sauce." I'm like, "Cashew cream sauce?" It's not something that I would really easily find in a typical grocery store, and yeah. Or some of the stuff I remember there was this one recipe that was floating around along the lines of if you want to have like a mock turkey, get a head of cabbage and roast it in your oven for a couple hours. And if you put the basting seasonings of a turkey on a head of cabbage, then it's kind of similar to turkey. But as you guys may be aware of, having that isn't really similar to turkey. I don't know. It's like I think if anyone wants to have like a turkey substitute, just go with something like this instead of trying to make a vegetable, like a straight vegetable into turkey. Ah, yeah, Quorn is UK brand. I remember there's this. Oh my gosh, what was it like some kind of hot dog stand or popular chain where they were selling the corn vegetarian option of it, and people said it was like really good. That's how I first heard about corn. There was an article I think on Daily Mail talking about this stuff. No, I don't think he's tried coconut milk ice cream. He's not a big fan of sweets too much. Yeah, I think the cabbage recipe, you might see it floating around on the internet somewhere. I forgot what it was. It was like Thanksgiving cabbage and um yeah, so I looked at it and I was like, wow, the pictures of it when it gets roasted in the oven, it does look the outside looks like turkey skin, but of course when you cut it into it, it looks like cabbage. Oh, when did I arrive? Oh, you arrived towards the end? Coconut milk ice cream is nice. What else is good? Yeah, I haven't tried too much of the vegan or vegetarian versions of ice cream. I tend to be kind of like a Haagen-Dazs fan. Haagen-Dazs slash. I used to really like Ben and Jerry's, just that full fat traditional ice cream. Yeah. Yeah, like coffee Haagen-Dazs, Dove bars, that's Crunch bars. There was a period of my life that I really liked eating Klondike bars. It's just all this not so good for you, tasty, high fat cream and sugar stuff. So good. Yeah, he's been tired lately, and I think part of it is because I've I've been I haven't been giving him as much protein as he probably needs, and it's just because like when I cook, I try to make beans and like lentils and rice, but after a while you just get kind of tired of it. And when I look at recipes for lentils, it's like cumin, bay leaf, tomato sauce. It's after a while it kind of seems repetitious. It's like the same thing over and over and over. And yeah, I've made like caramelized onion lentils, tomato sauce and lentils. What else? Yeah, it's just after a while you just get tired of it. So that's why I've been foraying into this meat substitute stuff, and I'm really excited because I think it might give an extra oomph to food that the flavor of beans just can't replicate. And I know I might be offending a few people, but I have so many spices. I've tried a whole bunch of recipes. After a while, like I said, it just kind of tastes the same. I don't know what it is. It's yeah, and I think also there's an issue too because when I do like for me, I can eat like vegetables and rice and I'm okay with it, but for him, I think he needs to have more protein because he's constantly hungry. I think he can eat something like five, meals a day. I know that like he'll eat at like 10 p.m. and then he might eat at 3 a.m. and then like 5 a.m. and it's just like he gets so hungry and I try to prepare food so he's not hungry in the middle of the night, but like today he told me that he got tired of eating the same thing, and because he's just eating veggie patties and like seasoned rice. And I told him, I said, the problem is that I feel like I'm kind of limited by certain things, like a veggie patty. There's only so many ways I can spice a pre-made veggie patty up. And even rice, I've tried so many different spices. After a while it's like, hey, if you're not using cumin and you're not using tomato and you're not using butter and garlic, yeah, and soy sauce, like you kind of run out of flavors, or at least I'm running out of different flavors. No, he eats eggs. He eats eggs for breakfast. So he eats 3 eggs for breakfast, and I give it to him with Kerrygold butter. And I feel that's more filling than just giving him oatmeal, which I was doing previously. So some of you guys might know that I try to keep my carbs kind of in check. I used to be keto for a while, so that's why I eat a lot of grass-fed beef, um, Kerrygold butter, lots of fat, and I got full, quite easily because it's just so much protein and it's so much fat that it surprisingly, I didn't eat that much as I normally did because it just is so filling. Making a quiche with a veggie patty, I don't know about that. I mean, so for example, here's like one veggie patty. Okay, there is only so many ways I can flavor this. I can put like hot sauce on top. I can try put a chili sauce on top. I can try put cumin or onions on top. But after a while, it still is a veggie patty, and that's where I kind of struggle. He's also a picky eater, so it's no, fish sauce doesn't work. That's not vegetarian. Oyster sauce and fish sauce has animal products in it, seafood, so that's not vegetarian. I was looking at a lentil recipe earlier today, and when I looked at it, I thought I probably know how this will taste like because it has basically the same ingredients as you see in other lentil recipes. The only difference is that it had cilantro and lime squeezed on top. Egg, cheese, and the chicken. You know what? He doesn't really like eating too much cheese. That's the other thing too. He doesn't like eating like pizza cheese. No, there is definitely animal welfare issues when it comes to slaughterhouses. I definitely acknowledge that it's not good, and it is suffering. If you see, let's say fish, right? I'm sure some of you hunt catch fish, right? The idea behind fish is that you catch them and then they suffocate to death. So when you look at that, you see them struggling, trying to survive, and you're killing them and you're watching them die, and it can be taken, and some people say it's very selfish for you to to watch an animal die just for your own, nutritional needs when you can have a vegetarian or vegan substitute instead for that. Or eat things like what was it called? Mycoprotein. I'm not a nutritionist, but I've always had some concerns about the vegan or vegetarian diet, and I think supplementation is needed for certain things. I don't know exactly what. Actually, you know what? You talk about umami. There's actually this. Look at that. Multi-purpose umami seasoning. It's made out of mushrooms. So it is vegan. I actually bought this simply because a lot of the food I was making did not have the umami flavor on it. This is actually pretty good. I really like this. Don't watch them die. You can kill the fish quickly. Well, the idea is not, you watching them die. The controversial part is the fact that you're catching and killing them. So the act of killing the animal itself can be considered repulsive. And if you purchase meat, you can also be seen as contributing to the, towards violence towards animals. Yeah, chickens eat bugs, right? So if chickens eat bugs or fish eat smaller fish, then they're not vegan as well. Humans have choices. We can make choices and decide, do we want to kill a living being, or do we want to try and find a option where we can feed ourselves and not have to, you know, feel like we're directly contributing to an animal dying. But like I said, I'm not vegetarian, I'm not vegan, so I just have like a reduced impact. But the more that I look into this kind of stuff, I understand both sides. I understand that some people they function better on meat and have having like, let's say, a pescatarian diet, or I respect that. So I I don't look down on anyone if they do eat meat or if they don't eat meat. I'm always concerned though that if they do eat meat or if they don't eat meat, I just pray that everybody has their nutritional needs. Like for instance, I can I noticed like when I went to the doctor a few times, I feel like I'm borderline anemic, right? So that tells me I should eat more iron or consume more iron. Some people they might be neglecting certain nutrition, and if they're not supplementing with pills or not getting the nutrition from the foods that they eat, they might be lacking something. I've actually tried insects, believe it or not. I've tried silkworm larvae, I've tried crickets, I've tried worms, and I tried it once. I didn't really care for it. There was this like deep fried crickets or deep fried mealworms. You guys might remember this, like it's like one of those novelty items with barbecue sauce or ranch, no, barbecue seasoning or ranch seasoning, kind of like corn nuts. It the you don't really taste much of anything at all. I think the mealworms kind of reminded me of like a bland Cheeto, if anything. Do I think mealworms is gonna catch on? No. I have had frog, but that was a really, really long time ago. I'm talking over 15 years ago. I wouldn't eat frog though. I'm not a big fan of frog. Yeah, the really good veggie patty, it's called Dr. Prager's. And they make good veggie patties, but the problem is that it's kind of hard to find. And it's tougher now because um, there's, how would I say this? I feel like when people go to the supermarket, they're buying more food so they can limit their trips to us until going out. Like I do that too. I try to stock up, have enough food for, let's say, ideally 1.5 weeks for veggie patties if I can. And when other people are doing the same thing, it's easy to clear out shelves. I've heard the argument that if everybody became vegan, a lot of farms would actually just not breed them anymore, right? Because it wouldn't be profitable to them. So, I mean, like if everyone did an overnight shift, I can see slaughterhouses just saying, "Hey, let's just kill everything off, and we'll just, grow vegetables." Cricket flour. I know. You know what? I don't know how I would feel about cricket flour. I'm opening to cricket flour, but I know Lewis would not be open to cricket flour for sure. Yeah, crops are not good as well. I agree with you on that. But there are certain states in the US that really do love their meat. Really, really do. Like meat, barbecue. Um, yeah. Like baby back ribs. A lot of southern food has meat in there as well. And that's the other thing I think about as well, because I I understand that, for some cultures it's just been ingrained in them to have certain meat sources. For instance, right? I believe the Alaskans, they used to hunt seals, or maybe they still do it, seals and whale, and it's just because that was kind of around them. So would I tell a person who lives in the remote wilderness, hey, you shouldn't go and eat whale and seal. Instead, you should import all your food and eat veggie burgers? I, I personally, I wouldn't, because I would say, this is how their generations lived for thousands of years. They might not. I don't know about transportation costs. If they want to live off the land and eat the animals on that land, then that's their right. Oh yeah, we have a Keurig. We have a Keurig. I love my Keurig. And that's another thing that I've thought about. I've thought about, when there's certain controversial foods that certain cultures eat, and I watch documentaries about it. I try to look at both sides and say, okay, does is this how does this compare to, let's say, another country, right? Like some countries will eat certain animals that the US does not approve of, or will eat certain animals that other countries don't approve of. I think the bottom line is that everybody hopes that if you do kill an animal, you kill it humanely, you don't have it suffer for a long time, you do a quick job. And yeah, that's why I've been a That's why I'm, really big on supporting small farms and that do home kills. It's, one bullet and it's over. That's like a really old school way of doing it though. I've seen a few videos about small time farmers and they bring out the pig and they bring out the pig on grass and they give them a bowl of food or treats and the pig eats it, and then while the pig is, enjoying the food, then they dispatch the pig with a gun. And I think to myself, it's not rushed. You can tell that this kind of small time farm, they don't they aren't cruel to their animals. They respect their animals a lot. They can just not do this sort of thing, but it's being respectful to it. And yeah, like in Hawaii, a lot of people they fish, right? You eat if you live in Hawaii, you always have like a poke bowl. You have a lot of seafood. Japan's the same way. When I went to Japan in I think 2016, 2017, one thing I distinctively remember was that there was a lot of fish, there was a lot of meat, and it there wasn't that many vegetables, surprisingly. It it really surprised me because a lot of I didn't realize Japanese food is so reliant on things like dried bonito flakes and for that kind of seasoning. Pork bones, fish, fish flakes. Yeah, so that's the other thing too. I was, honestly, I was kind of surprised about the executive order about keeping meat packing places open. So slaughterhouses, and I understand the rationale behind it. However, I was curious to see that if there was a meat shortage going around in the US, would it push people to become more vegetarian or at least reduce their meat intake? I think, on my own beliefs that it's hard to make people 100% vegetarian or 100% vegan, but if everyone reduces their meat intake a little, then being imperfectly more vegetarian, then it would have more of an environmental impact than just everyone having their same dietary habits. Of course, to each their own, right? But if you want to go with the whole environmental thing, it's more um, beneficial, I think, or more realistic to say, hey, everyone, you eat one less meat meal a week, and we'll see some changes, and maybe you'll eat less meat as a result, or maybe you'll just try it out, see how you like it. But of course, like I said, I don't know if people will be changing their dietary habits as a result of this situation. Ramen is not a vegetable. Ramen is definitely not a vegetable. Ramen is basically flour deep fried and with some MSG packet. Yeah, but bottom line, I think that everybody should try eating less meat, see how you react to it. If you react fine to it, then if you want to eat no meat, then go for it. But if you feel that you're feeling off for whatever reason and you need to eat meat, then find the amount that you need, that you feel, adequate to make you feel healthy. My problem with not eating meat, I find, is that I feel really lethargic after a while, and it's because I don't. I know this is gonna sound so so cliche, but I've been told by people I'm not doing vegetarian, I'm not being doing vegetarian diet right. I'm not doing a vegan diet right, and it's I should see a nutritionist. But I've always had this whole belief that if I want to eat something, I'm not really one of those people who count calories or count proteins. I just eat it and see how I feel, and if I feel like, hey, I'm a little low on protein, then I'll eat more protein and that kind of thing. So it's and yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Being too high in carbs. I remember when I was on like the keto diet, I was actually looking more toned because I was cutting down my carbs. But when I eat too many carbs, I tend to look kind of puffy. Like I'm not so, yeah, I look more padded or puffy. But the one thing I didn't like about being on keto was is that if you did a pretty good job on it, or if you try to be on strict keto and then you ate carbs, oh my goodness, you it's like you feel tired after eating all those carbs, and it's like, no. So that's why I'm not on a keto diet. I try to watch my carb intake, try to lower the carb intake. I've been using almond flour for my microwave chocolate chip cookies. I bought some sugar-free sugar yesterday from Amazon, and using that as a replacement for sugar. And I want to see how it goes. It's just all these small little steps. Taco diet? Oh, hold up. You know what actually has a lot of um carbs? It's a tortilla chip. I was so sad because I remember I was thinking to myself, if I eat Taco Bell all the time, I should be fine, right? I and then I realized, wait a second, no, the crunchy tortilla shell has a lot of carbs. It adds up. Are you talking about the corn? Is the corn high in salt? It has 190. Whoops, here we go. 190 milligrams for one fillet, which isn't too bad. Yeah, Kurt. Before, when I was in Hawaii, my go-to thing was I would go to a Korean yakiniku place around the time of my period or right afterwards, and I would feel much better because I would eat so much meat, and I would feel like I have an iron boost. So that was like a monthly ritual for me, going to a Korean yakiniku place, eating, tons and tons of um, meat. But obviously, I'm not doing that anymore. Coffee and chocolate. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I drink a lot of. I drink like 1 cup of coffee a day, and I'm eating chocolate. Yeah, I've been on this coffee chocolate kick for about a week or so, I think. Yakiniku. Um, Yakiniku. It's a grilled meat place, so they serve you raw meat, and then you cook it on a grill, and you dip the meat in like dipping sauces, and you eat it with like rice and lettuce and spicy sauce. It's Yeah, so if you go to an all you can eat place, you usually pay like about $25 and you can just order all sorts of meat like pork, brisket, short rib. Yeah. I used to also go to hot pot places a lot too. So you would make like sukiyaki. You would have like a broth and then you would grab the meat and you would cook it in the liquid, throw in a bunch of vegetables and then eat it that with rice. Yeah, the one thing I was telling Lewis that I hope that they do is if you really want to push people to eating more meatless substitutes or lab grown meat, what they really need to produce is lab grown steak with the bone in. Because I know some people they really like eating like a T-bone steak or certain cuts of meat. For me, I usually like ribeye or top sirloin. No, I can't sneak off to a Brazilian steakhouse. You don't have any eat-in restaurants right now. I'd have to take it out. Actually, between you and me, um, I cooked pork here one time, and I didn't realize that cooking pork gives off an odor. So when Lewis smelled it, he said it smelled absolutely disgusting. I haven't cooked pork since then. I guess he has very sensitive um, sense of smell, so he could smell that I cooked pork. Try and look it up, Kurt. Does the kitchen have an exhaust fan? Yes, but the thing is that I think I got so used to the smell of meat cooking that I didn't realize that how much it smells. And for some people it can smell savory, but other people they don't like the smell of meat. But I never really noticed like when I cook pork there's a smell to it. Well, again, I think the thing is that when you have like a vegetarian meal or when you are vegetarian, you hope that there's balance, right? I mean, you cannot be like one of those people who say, "Hey, I'm just gonna eat, carrots all my life, and I'm just gonna live off carrots." There has some sort of nutritional balance in there. Carmen, no pork smell. Ah. Yeah, I think I told you guys that if I ever went out to a restaurant to eat, like let's say like a southern cooking restaurant, absolutely could not bring Lewis over there because you would smell the smell of pork, or beef, and you would see it, and it just isn't mindful towards him. Like one place I really want to go to is Golden Corral. I know people say it's like a terrible place to go to, but I've seen the commercials and I want to know exactly how is it. Some people say, they like it. Other people say, no, no, don't go there. But I really am curious to try it because they don't have a golden. I just tried what was it? Five Guys? Was it Five Guys? Yeah, I just tried that recently, and I was pretty impressed by their burger. Yeah, he doesn't eat meat, so he will consume like eggs, butter, some cheese, but he doesn't eat seafood. He doesn't eat any meat. He's been vegan, or not vegan, vegetarian for about 5 years, I think. Yeah, the only problem with that matter is that I can't go and go to a smoked brisket and salvage barbecue place and expect there to be any vegetarian offerings there, most likely. So I want to be mindful to him. If I bring him to, or if we go to a place that serves like pulled pork, most likely we're not really gonna have a vegetarian option. Some of the places that we went for right to repair, like Tumwater, Washington, it was extremely hard to find a vegetarian option. I remember I went to the front desk and I said, "What's good around here?" And they said, "Oh yeah, you have a really really good burger place." I looked at the burger place, looked at their menu, and I saw mushroom burger, right? So I thought, "Oh, look, it's a vegetarian burger. It's a mushroom burger." Because I was thinking portobello mushroom burger. Instead of the burger patty, you would have the portobello mushroom instead. No, it was burger with mushroom on top. Yeah, so like I said, I try to be very mindful to him. That's one of the other reasons why you never saw me eat meat on his channel because he didn't want me to post any videos of me eating meat. So if I did it, it would strictly be on this channel, and it definitely wouldn't be on his channel. Yeah, I've made fried eggs. I made omelet eggs. I've tried quiches. Yeah, I already know how I like to eat my. I like eating eggs scrambled with lots of butter. That's my favorite way to make eggs scrambled. Scrambled is unless I eat it in ramen, then I would love to eat it like a soft boiled egg. Oh, that's so good. Oh, it's really tasty. But my favorite broth at a ramen place is the tonkotsu broth, which I believe is pork bone, and that's not vegetarian. No, he eats eggs. I think he eats like 3 eggs a day, and that's it. Oh yeah. That's cause yeah, McDonald's. Yeah, that's cause I was just eating lunch. But you don't see me stream me eating nuggets on there, most likely. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's one of the learning experience as well. So when I was in Hawaii, I used to make a lot of steak, and one of my favorite things to cook is steak. I like to make it with rosemary and butter and just baste it on top. And I got just so used to it. I got so used to it that when I met Lewis and I found out he was vegetarian, I was like, oh, he can't have one of my steaks. And I haven't found a vegetarian way of making a steak. I do I ever wish that I could share my meat food with Lewis? To be honest, I think it's because when you try something and you find it to be delicious, you want to share it. Whether it be a cookie or a piece of cake or a piece of fruit. I'm a big sharing person. So there are times, but like I said, I haven't eaten meat in quite some time. There are times where it's like I think to myself, man, I would love to have him eat maybe a local specialty, but like some people were recommending when we were in Maine, they said, "Oh, try the crab cakes." Crab cakes are, um, they're really known for it in Maine, and we never ate it because if we go to a crab cake restaurant or a Maine lobster place, right, they're not gonna have a vegetarian option, and it isn't mindful of me to want to go to a meat place knowing that there's no vegetarian option. And one of the things that you notice, like I never realized how prevalent meat is in a lot of food. For instance, Korean food, they tend to have a lot of meat in there. If you have like kimbap, you usually have meat in there. You can have like the vegetable one, but it's not the same. I like the tuna one. Of course, Korean yakiniku is meat. Um, or like fish cake, Korean fish cake. That's a side dish. That's tasty and that has meat. Or the anchovies, the small little anchovies. That's fish. Japanese food has a lot of pork bones in there or actual fish itself. Chinese food has pork or beef or shrimp. Yeah, it's like it's taking out a lot of food that I'm familiar with eating. And when I think about like the vegetarian or vegan offerings, it's not it's not an easy substitution. It's not easy to find. Like if you go to Chinatown and you go to a dim sum restaurant, there might be a few vegetarians, but mostly they would have things like chicken feet, shrimp dumplings, that sort of stuff. No, supermarkets always have meat. Actually, I when I was posting on the Trader Joe's runs, um, on my channel, like the meat section was like completely wiped. However, now when I go to the supermarket, at least for some supermarkets, I do see a full meat section. Yeah, vegetarian Indian dishes. Yeah, I was making Indian food for a while, but for me personally, I'm not a big fan of Indian food too much. Chicken feet from like a dim sum restaurant is really tasty. The cartilage is good, and it's just like that flavoring. It's like the flavor and the texture. I can't think of a vegetarian alternative to it. No, no, Red October meatless. Crab is considered meat. Remember that. Clam is considered meat. Fish is considered meat. That would be pescatarian, I think. That's the name of it. I can't remember Mediterranean food off the top of my head. What Mediterranean food is. If that's like Italian food, I like Italian food, but the only problem is that if I eat too much carbs, I can definitely feel it. So I don't like eating too much pasta.
Yeah, I did recommend to him. I said, "Hey, what do you think about visiting a farm?" Because in upstate New York, there are small farms and they are listed as humane farms. So even though they do kill animals, they try to raise the animals in a open pastures and treat their animals well. And they do recommend that people come to the farms and see how the animals are raised. And I asked him what he thought about it, and he didn't seem too interested in it about it. I think it's very important to see how animals are raised if you are going to be a meat eater, because it's important for animal welfare purposes. Of course, I know that if I buy, let's say, a steak at a supermarket, it's going to probably be a feedlot beef if it's not grass fed. Did I nibble on the plain corn? I'm going to nibble on it right now. It's tasty, actually. Oh, falafel Mediterranean. Yeah, we actually have falafel balls. I bought some, but Lewis doesn't like falafel balls because he says it's dry. Which is weird because it's like when I heated it up yesterday, he was okay with it. I heated it up on the stovetop, and the leftovers, I just put it into a container with rice, right? And then afterwards, after it was refrigerated, he complained that it was dry. So I was like, "Arr." No, it tastes fine the way it is. I mean, would I really eat it with sauce? Most likely, but it tastes like flavored chicken, like salty salt and pepper chicken. Oh yeah, caramelized onions are very very good. Oh yeah, I'm not a big fan of seitan at all. Nope, 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 nope. I would eat seitan, but if I had to do meatless alternative, corn would would take the cake. No, not even no questions asked. I would stick with corn. But like I said, the only place I know to where to buy corn, it's I have to go on the subway for it. So seitan, it most likely is. No, I didn't have tahini sauce. I put some harissa on there. This is what I used for the falafel. See, it was good with it. Alternatively, I could have added hummus on there too, but we didn't have any hummus at home. So Amber, what made you decide to eat meat? I'm just curious because usually if you're raised vegetarian, I find that you're it's harder to break away from being a vegetarian because you're also very aware about the morals of being a vegetarian. It's paste. It's like a spicy paste. Mmm. Ah, smoked brisket. Oh my goodness. I remember fatty brisket that's so tender it just like breaks apart with the fork. Oh my gosh. You know what I'm talking about? Like those fatty end pieces of brisket where you just go like this and it's so oily and um tender that it feels like melted butter almost. Like those pieces. Oh my gosh, they're amazing. Yeah, it's tough, you know, especially especially if you were raised vegetarian and you have those, um, you know, what was instilled in you, in your mind, then it can be hard to get over certain that you grew up with. And there are people who have gone through their life as meat eaters and then they decide to become vegan or vegetarian. Yeah, so Jonathan, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to visit in upstate New York a humane farm because I wanted to see with my own eyes, you know, how are these animals treated? If, you know, if they wanted to slaughter an animal in front of me, I would be open to seeing it just because I want to see exactly how is this usually handled? When you see small time farmers and they take a lot of pride in their animals that they raise and they understand or they feel like they're feeding their community and they say, hey, you know, we're not going to be like some typical feedlot. We want to show people that we do love our animals and we try to give them the best life possible. And when we dispatch them, we do them that in a very quick and, you know, hopefully painless or, you know, quick fashion. I think those are the farmers that need to get supported. It's hard to find that kind of stuff though. Those farmers. Yeah, try to look up videos on Homekill, HOMEKILL. There are some small time farmers who like you look at their farms and you realize like man, this is like a multi-generational family. The kids get all involved. They raise their chickens and with the way they do it, it's just so much respect. It's not like they're kicking chickens or anything. They say, you know, the way they treat their animals, they treat them as if they see them from the moment that they're born or you know around the time that they're and they raise them until they're dispatched and throughout the whole time it seems very respectful. And I think, like I said, I think those are the people that really need to get supported. The people who say, hey, you know, I just want to make sure people have nutritional needs. And some people might think it's outdated that chickens are getting killed or animals are getting killed. But if people are choosing to still eat meat and chicken and um, animal products, then at least do it in a way that that shows, you know, care and compassion towards them. Yeah, even the captive bulls, I've looked at that stuff. You know, sometimes you miss. You're supposed to do it again. I looked at it. I also don't like the idea of transporting an animal possibly hundreds, thousand miles just to get slaughtered. That's why I've been a big fan of home kill. An animal that's raised in a farm gets slaughtered on the same farm, and it's you know ideally less stressful on the animal. It's like a couple hours away. So some farmers that I've seen and read about, they try to give their like for the cows, they'll do grass fed only. So the cows spend a lot of time eating grass or um, hay and things like that. Like some you know, it's definitely a question that farmers should be able to answer, especially if they invite people to come to the farm. And for meat products, like it's not unusual for me to see like 100% like vegetarian feed or things like that. I think people care more about where what their food is being fed and where the food comes from nowadays versus before. I think, when it comes down to kids, the bottom line to do is just always instill in kids, be respectful. If a kid doesn't want to eat certain things, or if they notice a kid doesn't eat certain things, like, don't make fun of the kid and just respect it. Because, like, some kids, for instance, they have like nut allergies, right? They can't eat peanuts or any kind of nuts, or they have like an allergic reaction. But that doesn't mean there's something wrong with the kid. That just means that the activities are all over the place. When I was growing up, I knew some people who were Buddhists, for example, and they didn't eat beef, or was it pork? I can't remember, but actually, I think it was pork that they. Oh gosh, I can't remember if it was beef or it was pork, and I didn't think much of it. I thought, okay, that's just something that they followed due to their religion, and I respect that. It's always important to be respectful. When it comes down to food choices or lifestyle choices or religion, everybody is different. Just be respectful. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like, I don't know much about child nutrition, but I think that, when you raise a kid, you should raise the kid as a traditional, like with meat and eggs and things like that. And when the kid is done growing, then tell the kid, hey, if you want to stop eating animal products, that is your choice. But I just wanted to make sure that, to my knowledge, you had the best chance of development that you could have. Like, when I was younger, my family forced me to drink milk all the time. And I don't drink milk anymore, right? But when I was growing up during those crucial years, they always said, Erica, drink your milk, drink your milk, drink your milk. I don't, and yeah, I never liked the taste of milk, but I think back on it and I said they just wanted to see me be healthy, and they didn't want me to suffer any developmental issues, like, possible bone issues or things like that. I don't know that much about milk as a nutritional source because I don't look into it too much. But what I do know is that when I was growing up, like I said, my family just wanted to make sure that I had the best chance of developing. So they made me drink milk because they just wanted to see me grow up healthy. I don't drink milk anymore. I don't buy milk. I don't even buy milk anymore. I just buy soy milk for coffee. But it's that intention, it's that whole thought, like, I just want to make sure that the child that I'm responsible for has a good shot, and you don't want to tweak too much of things that, evolution has been. um Now, I can't really talk too much about milk, but at least growing up in the US, you always hear about drinking milk at lunchtime with the school meals, and I think that's where it came from. And the other thing too that I've always thought about is, because, when it comes to children, it's like nutrition is essential to development. I worry sometimes when I hear about people who say, okay, my kid will just drink some green juices and just live off that and some pieces of watermelon. I just kind of think like, oh, I don't know if doing this like kind of green juicing fruitarian diet is really the best for a small child. It's things like that. It's That's why, like, if I became a parent, I would tell the child, like, hey, you can make choices when you're older, but I feel like as a parent is responsible to try and make sure that the kid has adequate nutrition. Yeah, there are some people who feed the cats vegan diets because they don't want their cats to contribute to, um, the death of chickens and birds and things like that, or bison. I think there's lamb or venison. And the problem is that cats are obligate carnivores. They need the meat. It's not like cats are they you can just feed them like tofu and the cats will thrive. It doesn't work that way. But from what I've come across, like a lot of vegetarians or vegans, they understand that cats need it to survive. So, you know, um it's just the way things are. It's just the way things are. You can't change nature in that sense. However, I won't be surprised if there are some people out there who say, oh, well, maybe if I make this concoction made out of green juices mixed with like some vegetable mash, then my cat will eat it. And I'm sure you've seen some videos about dogs getting fed vegetarian foods and they say like, yeah, my dog is eating carrots and peas, so I would just feed it carrots and peas, and be more, um, it'll be more moral than having them eat meat. What would you feed a pet snake? Seitan. That's what you would feed your pet snake, Vladimir. Seitan. Seitan, or maybe some strawberries. Tell the snake to live off that. Do you have any? No, we don't really have space to grow food. I remember there was this video online, and there was, I think it was like a UK one where this woman claimed that her dog loved eating vegetables. So the host said, "Okay, we'll test your dog to see how much they love eating vegetables." They put out two bowls. One bowl was full of what the vegetables that the dog loved to eat, and the other one was meat. The dog ate one with all the meat in it. And the owner was like, wow, I didn't expect that. The dog really liked eating vegetables, but maybe I'll start feeding the dog meat now. I was like, well, if you only feed your dog vegetables and you don't give them the choice of eating meat, it's no wonder why the dog will only eat vegetables. It's not like the dog can go to the kitchen and just get some meat. Yeah, but talking about that, there's also some people who believe on the line of, was it PETA? I can't remember. Maybe it was PETA. Probably was PETA. But they said that um, having a pet is considered cruel, and you shouldn't have a pet because you're preventing them from living a wild lifestyle and things like that. And it's like taking away their freedom. I'm like, oh brother. I had a lovebird in Hawaii. I know for a fact that lovebird cannot live by himself. No way. He was born and raised in captivity. He just goes to eat his food and water. It's like 1 foot below his birdhouse. This guy is not going to travel miles for food and water. No way. Hello, Clinton. Uh, yeah, he ate a lot of takeout before. What is it, Clinton? Do you want a hug? Do you want a hug? Do you want a hug, Clinton? Oh, Clinton, you have food. I gave you food. What is it? What do you want? Yeah, you have tons of food, Clinton. What is it? You have food and water. I gave you food and water. I just checked. He has wet food, dry food, and water. And yet he's complaining to me. Clinton? Clinton, come back over here. Let me check the cat. Clinton, what you doing, huh? What you doing, sweet? Hello. Oh, he's a cutie. Ah. I think my thoughts about animal domestication is if you are giving an animal a great life or doing to the best of your ability, I don't see anything bad about taking an animal in. So, for instance, right? Like Oreo used to be a stray cat. He was out on the streets. I don't know where he was getting his food from, but based on the way he likes to dig in the trash sometimes, I think he used to dig in the trash for food and just dig through and see what was inside of there. But I can't imagine putting like a cat on the Oreo on the streets and thinking he would have a better life on the streets. Like this guy is such he's he's not the fastest cat. He's pretty lazy and his reflexes aren't that strong, and I think him being indoors and having access to clean food and water and um, being sheltered from the outside temperatures and the rain, like right now it's raining pretty hard, it's more, I like to think it's more humane than him being outside looking for food and possibly getting hit by a car. I mean, like, you guys saw the video of Lewis when he first got Oreo. I think it's something like when Lewis met Oreo the cat or something like that. You could see Oreo was just, he was rolling on his back, nuzzling him. It's, that cat, it was obviously an indoor cat. And he has a microchip from previous owners, so I know that he, was probably dumped or, yeah. Or if he escaped, the owners on file didn't want him back because we didn't get a call back. But Oriole's a very he's like a special needs cat. He really is. He's a cute cat, but he requires more care than other cats for sure. Yeah, he has a microchip. So when I brought him to the vet, they scanned him and they saw that there was a microchip. They called the owners on file for Oreo, and they didn't return the call. I followed up with the vet, and I said, hey, afterwards I said, hey, if the owners contact you, let me know, and so I can tell them that if they don't want Oreo, we'll keep Oreo. But I didn't get a call from the vet at all, and the microchip company didn't give me a call either. I didn't have the personal information of the owners on file because, of course, it's private, right? They're not gonna just give me a phone number. But I think to myself that if you have an animal that has a microchip, as an owner, it's your responsibility to update the microchip information. Or alternatively, put a new microchip in. For Oreo, we haven't updated the microchip information. I've heard conflicting things. Some people say that the original owners on file have to give authorization to update it. So if you can't reach the owners, then SOL. But the other thing too is that I really don't see Oreo escaping this place. I really, really don't. At all. I think he's definitely going to be indoor kitty. Yeah, so I'm not worried about him leaving. Unless he breaks through a glass window or something. They would contact the vet. So, but the vet would be handling everything. They didn't have and I checked my phone. I didn't have any voicemails. So the vet had my email address as well. I didn't get any email. I didn't get any call. No voicemail. Oriole's a really sweet cat, but he is extra care. He has his little pooping issue. I'm still trying to work on that. Today I had to clean up puke from Clinton, Barry, and I had to wipe Oriole's butt yesterday. Yep, it is. These three cats are not low maintenance cats. They make quite a mess. Every single day I'm cleaning up cat puke. And it's not because I'm feeding these cats too much either. I've been trying to do this thing where I've been giving them mostly wet food, and then after they eat dinner, then I'll leave the dry food out if they want to eat it. And for some reason, I don't know what it is. It's like they're still puking up their food. And I know some people, they just release the animals when they need to move. I would never ever do that with an animal. I mean, it sounds really idealistic. Like, hey, I'm gonna release you like Free Willy. Be free, you orca whale. Oriole, you put him out on the street, he's just gonna be like, like that. He's not gonna live the life of a lion or a jaguar. He isn't. He's not gonna roam the savannas or anything or take down a gazelle. That's not Oreo. And now, I don't really. I usually gave him like a little wet food, and then I gave him dry food, and then he got constipated, so I upped the wet food more, and I still give him a little dry food, but it's like they're still having issues, and I'm putting in the probiotics as well recently. So I'm just trying to adjust their food. And as you guys may have remembered, I'm not giving them any food in plastic anymore either. Like, even the spoon that I dig the food out of the bag is wooden. And I try to make sure there's no cross-contamination. Thinking, oh, you guys are on sensitive digest food. I don't know what it is. Clinton eats too fast. That's what I know. I don't know about Barry. It's weird because it's like sometimes she'll just eat dry, wet food, and then she'll just start puking, and I'm like, oh, Barry, why? So we have cats puking wet food, dry food. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like, if you leave a cat out, look, even if you leave him in the wild, right? Do you think a cat like Oriole's gonna know where to find water? No. He isn't. It's not like he can just go to a big water bowl in the middle of the neighborhood and grab water. He has to look for it. I think some cats are really good hunters, so they can survive out in the wild. But when it comes to like a heavily domesticated cat like Oriole, his survival instincts aren't the strongest. But he knows how to turn up the charm, that's for sure. From what we were told, Oriole was a stray cat on the neighborhood for quite some time. Neighbors saw the found posters that Lewis was posting up, and they said, oh yeah, that's just a stray cat. He's been looking for a home for a long time, but nobody wants to take him in. So nobody gave him, no one claimed the cat forward, or no one posted a missing cat sign or anything like that. They said the Oriole actually lived, they saw Oriole like roaming around the block for a while, but nobody wanted to take him. I'm just happy Oriole didn't cross the street, or he crossed the street. He was very safe. Okay, Vladimir, your cat is, knows how to chew. Clinton does not chew. He just swallows his food. Like, arg. Even when I use the ice cube tray thing, it's like he would still try to scarf it down. I'm like, Clinton, you're eating too much food. But yeah, anyway, I will go and talk to you guys later. I need to eat dinner. I haven't eaten yet. I was just so busy talking to you guys. And yeah, I might do a live stream tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But I hope all of you guys take care and stay safe and maintain social distancing. That's very, very important. And if you wear a face mask, please cover your nose as well. I've seen some videos of people walking around and they're just covering their mouths and not their nose, and I'm like, no, it's not a face mask because you just cover your mouth. You also have to cover your nose. Arg. Yeah, Clinton actually has really, really good teeth, by the way. He has really good teeth. Like, I look at his teeth, they look magnificent. You look at Oreo's teeth. Oreo's teeth, nah, not so much. I don't know what it is about. They eat the same foods, too. So it blows my mind. I was telling Lewis how I wanted to brush Oreo's teeth and see how that would work, but I think Oreo, of all the cats, would let me do it. He's a pretty chill cat. He's a pretty chill cat. I think he would let me brush his teeth. Clinton, no way. No way. There was actually, I shared it with you guys. A couple days ago, Clinton was screaming at me, kind of like how he was earlier today, right? And I was like, "What is it, Clinton? What is it?" And I picked him up and I hugged him, and I said, "You know, what is it, Clinton?" That's the way I discipline this cat. Like, I pick him up and I hug him like a little baby. You know, you've seen me hug Oreo. Like, I kind of cradle Oreo in my arms. I do that with Clinton, and Clinton, that kind of thing, or he's kind of quiet, right? And then a couple minutes later, he does it again, and I'm like, Clinton, what is it? You have food in your bowl. You have wet food, dry food. You have water in there. Why are you yelling at me? And then I do the same thing. I pick him up, and he goes, and then he just scratches me right in the forehead, and I start bleeding from my forehead. I think, oh, Clinton, why? And the thing is like he just like it was like the full claw retraction out with the teeth showing. I was like, geez, Clinton. I wasn't, it's like I don't understand how come this cat just gets so like crank it up to 11 kind of thing. Like Oreo would not do that. Oreo and Barry would just kind of, you know, move a little, but Clinton, like you gotta watch out for that cat. I think that's one of the reasons why Clinton would not be a good store cat. So some people were asking about that. How come Oreo was brought to the store and not Clinton? Oreo is that kind of cat. He gets along with almost everybody. He's a very friendly cat. He's so chill. He's very trustworthy, very, very trusting of people, which is surprising to me. And it's endearing because he used to be a street cat, right? I figured that not everybody was nice to him on the street. Possibly some people might have kicked him around, but Oreo's always maintained this very sweet demeanor. Clinton, on the other hand, Clinton was I think he was an outdoor cat for maybe 4 months of his life. Lewis got him when he was young, maybe like 4 months old, but Clinton is kind of feral in some sense. Like he's very independent. If he doesn't like something, he'll hiss and he'll scream and yowl and strike, and I don't understand it. But I think it all comes down to personality. So, yeah, when it comes to people, if you want a people-friendly cat, a cat to be fine around a lot of people, that would definitely be Oreo. Clinton, no. Clinton can be a wild card sometimes. Barry, she's kind of high anxiety. She doesn't like to mingle with people too much. Oreo, as you can see with like Anel, he would just jump on his lap. He will tap on Paul's arm. He'll tap on staff. He actually goes up to customers for very, very sweet cat. So that's why Oreo became the shop cat for a little bit. Now, do I think he was successful in killing any rats or mice? No, definite. I don't think he did. I don't think he did, but I like to think he did peace talks, and that's why there was no more mice in the store. At the old store, by the way. But yeah, I will talk to you later. Take care, you guys. Bye bye.